Hey everyone, welcome to NoDQ&A video, episode number 798 here on NoDQ.com as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Almost at 800 episodes. I'm planning to make 800 the biggest edition of NoDQ&A video to date, so please keep spreading the word. Tell a friend about NoDQ&A video. With that being said, let's get down to your questions today. First one comes from Adele. Longtime viewer, first time asker. The Rock versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33. How big this match really is. I would say it's really big. It's one of the biggest matches that WWE could do at WrestleMania. Any match with The Rock is huge, but for The Rock to face Brock after Brock Lesnar's successful UFC run and his successful run in WWE since coming back, and The Rock with all of his success, they had a very memorable match back in 2002. Them having a match here in 2017 would be an instant blockbuster match for WrestleMania. The Rock has been wanting to do it for some time now. It was originally scheduled for WrestleMania 30 until The Rock got hurt and was unable to do a match at that show. I think a lot of it depends on The Rock's schedule and if he will be available and if he'll be cleared to wrestle at WrestleMania 33, but I really do feel that time's running out. If it doesn't happen at next year's WrestleMania, I think it's a lot less likely that it happens at all, because Brock Lesnar might only be wrestling for a couple more years. His run in WWE could be coming to an end in the very near future, and there might not be many more opportunities to do that match. Really, Brock Lesnar is The Rock's best possible opponent, either Rock versus Brock or Rock versus Roman Reigns. But for Reigns to be a suitable opponent, I think that he would really need to go full-fledged heel for that match to really succeed at the main event level and for fans to accept the match and not try to hijack it or whatever. I just feel that Rock versus Brock is probably your best bet for The Rock if he's going to have one more WrestleMania match. Alright, this one comes from Ben Jarman. What do you think will happen to Luke Harper when he returns? Wide family, singles run, or maybe even bulletproof? Bulletproof, I doubt. Singles run, that I could see happening if the Wyatt family ends up breaking up before Luke Harper returns. If the plan is to keep the Wyatt family faction going for another 6 months as baby faces, then I could see Luke Harper just coming back and being part of the group. If he's not coming back as part of the Wyatt family, I think it would be best to just repackage him, whether it's cut his hair, change his beard, change his attire, change his look, the whole package. Just give him a makeover and give him a new gimmick. That might be the best way to go for him if he's going to be a singles competitor. But who knows what the long-term plans are for the Wyatt family now. With Bray Wyatt being injured, it's all really up in the air. WWE could go in a lot of different directions, but I think it would be a good idea to have the Wyatt family officially split up and have Bray Wyatt be turned on by his partners. Whether that includes Luke Harper or not depends on when Harper is actually able to make his return to in-ring action in WWE. Alright, this one comes from Jamie Lee Mack. Are you going to check out the Camp WWE show? And if you have, what did you think of it? I found it enjoyable. I did try watching it. I gave it about 10 minutes before I gave up on it. Not really my cup of tea. There was one point in the entire show I laughed, and that was when Vince McMahon said the word asshole. Just because of the novelty of hearing him say it. But I just did not find the humor to be funny. That's my personal taste. I was not a fan of it. Have no desire on watching any more episodes. I gave it a shot just to check it out so I could respond to questions about it. I did not find the show funny, personally. Alright, this one comes from Luke. Do you see Big Show and Kane's careers fading away or have a big retirement storyline? Thanks for your great content. Please answer in video. I could see them possibly having retirement segments, both of them respectively. It just depends on when they are retiring exactly. I could see Kane and Big Show, for that matter, having a few more years, and they might have a period of time apart between when they retire, and that way each guy can get his own special retirement segment or Hall of Fame induction or whatever. With both of them, I feel they do deserve some sort of official end to their careers rather than just fading out, because both of them have been top stars in WWE for a very long period of time, and I feel both of them deserve the recognition. Alright, this next one comes from The Bot. Hey Aaron, longtime viewer, keep up the good work. Do you see WWE ever doing stadiums for events like SummerSlam or the Rumble? I'm a bit surprised that WWE hasn't really tried this yet, especially the idea of doing a medium-sized stadium like a soccer stadium with 400,000 people. There was speculation a few years back that WWE was going to do that in the New York, New Jersey area, but they ended up just doing it in Brooklyn. I think there's a lot of money to be made, but it all comes down to economics, and if WWE can make enough money and they can draw enough people, they can sell out 40,000 people. The Royal Rumble is such a huge show, and it always sells out, that I think they should at some point try doing it in a bigger venue. They did do the Royal Rumble in San Antonio back in '97, but the product was not hot at that time, and they had to sell discounted tickets and give out freebies and all that stuff to fill up the stadium. But today, I think they could legitimately draw 30,000-40,000 people for a Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I'm fairly confident they could pull that off in the right market. And even the same thing with SummerSlam too. In the right city, with the right promotion, the right main event, you could get 30,000-40,000 people in a building and make a ton of money. Alright, this one comes from Ty Marshall. What were your thoughts on the Paul Burchill pirate gimmick? I enjoyed it. I thought that it was something entertaining. I felt that yes, it was a ripoff of Pirates of the Caribbean, but at the same time, I think it was more interesting than Paul Burchill just being your average wrestler that did not stand out. Good technical wrestler, but really needed some kind of gimmick. I have to admit, I found the pirate gimmick to be way more entertaining than it probably should have been. But yeah, I was a fan of it, and I did enjoy it while it lasted. Alright, this one comes from Ty. Hey, Aaron, been watching since 2012, first time asker. Got quite a few first time askers today. Who do you see on the roster benefiting from being managed by Paul Heyman? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, because we've seen several guys that were Paul Heyman guys. We saw it happen with Curtis Axel. We saw it happen with Ryback. And it never really went anywhere with those guys. So it's not a guarantee that being associated with Paul Heyman is going to make a character successful. The character has to be successful on his own and not just rely on Paul Heyman's promo abilities. Paul Heyman is great at selling people, but the person he's selling has to have the ability and has to have the character for Paul Heyman to sell it. That's not a knock on Paul Heyman. I mean, he could probably sell anything. It's just that with Brock Lesnar, he is a one-of-a-kind athlete, and the one thing he lacks is promo skills, and that's why Paul Heyman was perfect for him, because Paul Heyman was the one last little piece of the puzzle to make Brock Lesnar complete. And, I hate to say that about Cesaro, too, because Cesaro had all the attributes, but even as a Paul Heyman guy, it didn't work out for him. So another factor could also be just the two guys having chemistry. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar are real-life close friends. They have a long history together, and they just have the chemistry on screen together. And that's why it's worked for so long, and it hasn't really worked with anybody else like it has with Heyman and Lesnar. Alright, this one comes from David. What do you think of Cesaro's promos since he came back? Is it just me, or they actually look pretty good? Well, speaking of Cesaro, I do feel his promos have been better since he returned, and I think that's due to just keeping his promos simple and not giving him too much to say and not making it too complicated. Promos are not Cesaro's strong suit. So if you're going to have him talk, you keep it limited. Same thing with guys like Roman Reigns. Just give him a little bit of dialogue, keep it short and simple and to the point. And try not to do anything funny with him where it comes off forced and unnatural. With Cesaro, you just got to let him go out there and be himself. And if you do that, he has a better chance of succeeding. And I think that's what they're letting him do at this point. And it seems to be working so far since his return. Alright, this one comes from James Walsh. With WWE Studios making 7 films this year alone, do you think WWE are trying too hard to be a name elsewhere and should focus more on the main product? The thing about the WWE Studios films is that they are so cheap to make that WWE is able to turn a profit on them. Not much of a profit, but enough where they can justify continuing to make them, and it gives their talents something to do. Guys like Seth Rollins, when they're injured, can work on a WWE Studios film. And it's just working for WWE as something extra on top of what they already have. And it's something that they can put on the network and they can market it on DVD and home video and all that stuff. WWE is going to continue trying to be an all-around entertainment company as long as these projects can remain at least a little bit profitable. Clearly, if they were losing a lot of money, they wouldn't be happening. But the fact that WWE is continuing to make them shows that they are at least a little bit beneficial to the company to continue producing them. Alright, this one comes from Mitch Adams. Why is Brian Kendrick working as a trainer for WWE but not on the main roster? The answer is he already had his shot. And there's so many guys coming into WWE all the time. There's so much talent out there and so few spots. And with Brian Kendrick, he just did not stand out enough to really survive on the main roster for a long period of time. The best thing for him was being teamed up with Paul London. That tag team had some legs, but once Brian Kendrick went on his own and he was out there as the Brian Kendrick with Ezekiel Jackson, he just didn't stand out. Ezekiel stood out more than he did, and that's why Kendrick did not last that long as a singles competitor, and WWE ended up giving Ezekiel Jackson a big push for a while until they gave up on him. It's just the cycle in WWE. New guys come in, they get a run for a while, and then they get phased out, and new people come in. Alright, this one comes from Mr. Yuck. What are your thoughts on Ken Shamrock? Why no World Champion win in WWE and his run in TNA and his... Wait a minute. Why no World Champion win in WWE, his run in TNA, and his all-around pro wrestling career Hall of Fame worthy? Alright, trying to figure out what you're asking exactly. I guess the first part is, why was he not World Champion in WWE? It was just a matter of timing. I'm not sure why Ken Shamrock did not last longer in WWE. I mean, he was fairly successful, and I do feel that he added a lot to the WWE product in terms of the submission wrestling. And after Shamrock came in, you started seeing more and more people doing submission holds in their matches and using submission holds as finishers, and the whole concept of people tapping out. I mean, Ken Shamrock was really the first person in WWE to do that, literally tap out opponents, and that became commonplace after he left. So I do feel he should go into the WWE Hall of Fame for that reason. And as far as just him not becoming champion, that was due to timing issues, and just he wasn't the right guy in the right place at the right time. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Extreme Rules. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCW. And I will see you guys next time for episode number 799.